Hey, what's up, everybody? This month we're going to be discussing the top 5 things that we love about Hozier. We're going to have some Hozier trivia, and we're going to be discussing lots of news and feedback. My name is Emily Reeves, and this is Frozen Devotion. All right, everybody, welcome to Frozen Devotion. This is a podcast dedicated to all things Hozier. And with me is Jessica Johnson. Hello, Jessica.
Hello, Emily.
Now, do you go by Jess or Jessica?
Most people call me Jess.
Jess, okay. All right,
Jess,
so
that's fine.
I'll call you Jess, because I noticed
That's good.
Jess is part of our Patreon group, and so she was in the monthly call-in show, and so was Maureen, and I noticed Maureen was calling you Jess, so that's why I asked, because she must go by Jess.
Yeah. Guessed right.
Awesome. Well, how long have you been a Hozier fan?
I think, what did I say in the podcast? I think about 3 or 4 years now. Yeah, it's been a minute.
Okay, and have you ever been able to see him live or been able to meet him?
Yes to both. I saw him live twice. The first time was last October in Vancouver, which is near Vancouver, BC, which is near where I live. And then the second time was in Spokane, actually, where I met Maureen and another member of the Hozier 24/7 Facebook group, Yamala, for the first time, who she actually sold me my ticket. And that was the time that I got to meet him. I'm hoping to do the same next October when he comes to Vancouver again.
Okay, so you're going to the Vancouver show?
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
Front row seat.
Nice. Are you going to be able to meet up? Oh, you got front row.
Yeah.
Nice. Are you going to be able to meet up with anybody again in October?
From the Facebook group, I don't know. I mean, if there is anybody going to the Vancouver show, they should let me know. I'd absolutely love to say hi. But of my own friends, we do have quite a few going, so that'll be fun.
That's great. All right, so
Awesome.
For today, we are going to talk about the top 5 things that we love about Hozier. Now, some of our top 5 might be the same, and that's okay. And if not, then you're going to get 10 as a listener. But we'll see. We'll see how these pan out. I don't know what Jess's are yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, we kept it a surprise.
Yeah, kept it a surprise. So, as the guest, why don't you go ahead and say what your number 1 is?
Yeah, for sure. If you see me looking down, I just have a little notebook with some notes that I made here.
Awesome.
So my first one was his political and social awareness, his activism.
Mm-hmm.
I'd actually, when I was doing this list, I came across a Toni Morrison quote that said, "All art is political. There is none that is not. And the ones that try hard not to be political are political by saying we love the status quo." It made me think of his own work, his own musical artisticness, you know.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you bring that up, because Andrew says the same thing. He says all music is political. And I wanted to ask you about that now that you brought that up, because I see how all music and art can be almost like sociological.
Yep.
As in like a snapshot of society and where society is at.
Yeah.
Is that to you the same as being political? Because to me, like when I think of politics, I think of like different types of
like legislation and government and
yes, thank you, or different policies that are put in place. So that's kind of what I think of when I think of politics. Do you think of it more of as a sociological aspect, and maybe that's where Hozier's coming from as well?
I mean, I think it can be both, but I think that what you talked about, the art capturing a snapshot of humanity as it is, is greatly influenced by the politics of that, because the politics are meant to govern our lives and govern how we conduct our lives. And so if art is taking a snapshot of that and trying to translate our human experience into something that can be understood in a different kind of medium, whether that's painting or, in Hozier's case, music, I think it's all kind of intrinsically intertwined. You can't really separate the two from each other.
Yeah, because politics affect our lives in such a great way that it kind of all trickles down too. Oh, that's very cool. So what specifically is it more that he is kind of calling attention to certain political issues, or is it that he says that all music is political, or what is it about the politics that appeals to you? Or is it all of the above?
I mean, I'd be inclined to pick C, all of the above again, but man, that wasn't a question I was prepared for. It's very deep. It's very deep. That actually kind of, it ties into one of my other things that I had written down about him and why I liked his music, was a sense of morality, which was more personal to him than it was just his music. Is that I care about his music because he cares so much about what's going on around him, about things that don't affect him directly. There's so much empathy in that. His empathy is translated into his music in such a way that it's nice to know that there's somebody out there who's paying attention on such a larger platform, you know.
Totally. And did you
I
say
hope that answers the question.
Yeah, and did you say that was another one of your...
Yes, yeah, I'd written down sense of morality as one of my points, and then I put down some other kind of sub notes on that note.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was basically it. But yeah, his sense of morality gets translated to his political awareness, which is then translated into his music, and it kind of feeds into each other, you know.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate that he brings political issues to mainstream. A lot of artists now avoid politics, and I appreciate that he's so honest about what he's doing, that whether he loses fans because of the politics, that's not what's concerning to him. What's concerning to him is being honest about how he feels about things, and that's so refreshing with artists. It really is. You know, when you compare it to artists of today, because there are so many love songs out there, and not that there's anything wrong with love songs, but there's more in this world than love songs. You know, there's
just romantic love.
Yeah, and so I also appreciate that he brings politics into it. And you know, there are songs that are blatantly political, you know, and like Nina Cried Power, and so I think that's fantastic. So
it really is, and I've always found it difficult to separate an artist from their artwork, so it's always mattered to me. Me enjoying the art anyways always heavily depends on the artist's sense of morality and their critical mindedness, the lens through which they, you know, decide to see everything and portray themselves and portray their artwork. So it's like you said, it's refreshing.
Yeah, it is. It's very refreshing. And you know, I've listened to artists before where I don't agree with them politically, and it's not, you can't enjoy it as much as if you're in line with their politics. And it's depending on how far off the politics are, then it gets to the point where you can't even enjoy the music anymore. But you know, I think the more in line you are with feeling unified with the lyrics, the easier it is. So cool. That was a good one. Okay, so my number one is his musical taste. That's
a good one.
Even putting his own music aside, you know, even if he didn't create any music, I just find myself liking the same music he likes. And for me, that's very refreshing because, like, in high school, I would be listening to, like, Billie Holiday or something, and my friends would be like, what is this? And, like, people didn't really appreciate the same music I appreciated. And so to find people who kind of enjoy the same music you do, it's kind of like, yes, I'm not the only one. And
especially once you get above or below rather a certain age, you know. Like, obviously, you have, like, your grandparents and great-grandparents. Like, they listen to jazz music, absolutely. But trying to find anybody under 50 who listens to that, it's hard.
It is. It really is. And so I wrote down some musicians that I find myself also liking, that I've heard him discuss before. Robert Johnson, Skip James, Muddy Waters, Bill Withers, Stevie Wonder, Al Green, Sam and Dave, Jackie Wilson, Simon and Garfunkel, Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Nina Simone, Tom Waits, and Johnny Cash. And just so many of those, like, in this day and age, you don't hear people listening to those artists. It's very rare, unfortunately. Especially, I mean, Robert Johnson, he goes way back. Or Skip James, I believe, is even older than Robert Johnson.
Yeah.
And then you got Tom Waits, who is very different. At least some of his music is very different. And so it's a very acquired taste, almost, for him. But yeah, I just love his music. Or, you know, obviously his music, but his taste in music is fantastic.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, so that was my number one. So what's your number two?
Let's see. My number two was something kind of silly. It's the you know, when he's pausing in the middle of a sentence.
Oh,
I've always wondered if it was the accent or if that was just something kind of unique to him, that he doesn't say more pause in any other way. It's just like he's starting to clear his throat but doesn't quite get there.
Yeah, like we go
Yeah, exactly. He just goes
Yeah. When you said
makes me
that,
chuckle a little bit.
I actually thought you were trying to think of something. I didn't realize you were saying like that's one of your things. But that's totally funny. In fact, I'm gonna add a little video of all his little M's.
Please do.
Podcast.
Just like a compilation.
Yeah, I know. One of my videos, I have like maybe 10-15 seconds of him doing M's. So maybe I'll add that little bit in there. But for those of you who don't know, I'm on YouTube, Hozier-byrne. I have a bunch of Hozier compilation videos, and I've got some M moments in there. But I think that's an Irish thing. I think we say and they say M.
Yeah.
So I think that's...
I've just never heard it before. That's why I thought it was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I had heard it before him either. Or maybe I never noticed it. But yeah, that's...
That could be too.
That's cool. Yeah. Love it. Okay, so...
Yep.
My number two is humility. I love his attitude. He's got a great attitude. He looks at everybody as though they carry a spark of the divine, is what he said. I'm going to go ahead and play a video real quick and show you guys what I'm talking about.
My mom, I think when trying to teach something of kind of spirituality, was that, look, you look at every person as if they carry a spark of the divine. That was how I remember my mom saying it, and so that's a very simple kind of. So you treat people with the respect that you would if you were looking at God or experiencing God.
You got a couple M's in there.
I did notice that. Yeah.
But yeah, his mom and dad, I think they raised him right. I am like kind of, I'm like hippie person. I'm all about loving people and showing people respect. And that is, in my opinion, the most important thing in life is love. I even have a tattoo that it's ancient Greek, but it says love because I believe that that's the most important thing in the world. And he also carries, I don't know if that's the most important thing in the world to him, but he does conduct himself in that manner. And I so appreciate that he treats everybody with love and respect. And he doesn't get, sucked up into the celebrity and get a big head about himself. He just has this way of staying humble, and despite having a ridiculous amount of talent, and he has every reason in the world to have a big head, but he doesn't. And so I really appreciate that about him,
Yep.
So that's fantastic. So that was my number 2. So
It really is.
Go ahead with your number 3.
Awesome. I was going to say, actually, to your point just now, one of the sub-notes I'd made off of my initial point about his political and social awareness was how love is political, and the point of his music speaks to these two kind of like interlocked aspects of humanity where you need to exist intellectually, which is to say like the political part of life, and then interpersonally with each other. But through both of those, the end goal and the whole journey and the end goal is still to find love. Should be the priority of both of those things.
Wow, I love that.
So
I love the way you worded that.
It's funny that you brought that up. I'm like, well, thank you. Yeah. And my next point was actually the exact same one as yours just now, the trying to find the spark of the divine in everybody. I thought it was a fantastic ethos and a very beautiful way of looking at people, especially when you work in customer service. It's kind of,
That's
trying to find the
gets
spark of the divine
challenging,
in
I'm
everybody.
sure.
You're like, okay, I got to try a little bit harder. Exactly. It gets challenging.
Yeah, for sure. But that's sometimes when it matters the most, especially now
Absolutely.
with, how divided we are. It's so important now more than ever that we, love each other, and that, even if somebody's views are different, that, you still have to try to be understanding, at least. Okay, so my number 3 is his gift for live performance. He is so good live. And I think there's many reasons for that. One is, he's a perfectionist. So he really cares about his work. So he strives to put on a good show. And by the way, I heard they got new set pieces for the stage, so I'm kind of interested to see that. So, he cares about the performance. And he's an excellent guitar player. He doesn't give himself enough credit for how well he plays. And I really
Especially
think
being self-taught.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. And I think being in Anuna helped, because as a choir, they performed live a lot, and you have to stay on key when you have voices in harmony, you know? And I think there's a lot of people who go on stage and, because of auto-tune, they sound great on the record, but then you go see them live and it's terrible. Mm-hmm. And he's not that way. And so he's, very often hits those notes most of the time. And he's got 8 people on stage. So it really is a powerful performance as well. And so I love seeing him live, every opportunity I get, I try to go because it's just a great show. He puts on a great show, and I appreciate that because there's a lot of artists out there that don't, and they don't really put much into that. They just want to sell the singles, you know? So, yeah. So that's my number 3. So, I don't know. Are you on number 4? I don't know what number you would be on. I guess number 4.
I am on number 4 because I started ahead of you. My number 4 was actually the one that oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, is this your last one? Because didn't we both have the same one? Did we get one?
We had the same one, and then the 4th point that I was going to do just now was one that I had mentioned earlier, the sense of morality. So I think we covered that. So I can just skip to my last one.
Yeah, go ahead. Go to your
that
last
works.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my last one was just going to be his eloquence, how well spoken he is. You know, he's so good at expressing his own ideas, both in interviews and also in through his music. And I've seen artists who can certainly do one or the other, but not usually do both.
Yeah, he's very well spoken. I think his intelligence has a lot to do with that. I know later in feedback, there's some people that speak about his intelligence, and I think that goes along with him being so eloquent in how he speaks. And there's a lot of times where
for sure,
I've experienced on this podcast trying to explain something that he says it much better, so I'll just roll the film because he just says it better. So
exactly, right? Just let him do the talking. It's fine.
Yes. In fact, I think he should just do the podcast every month. I think everybody would think that.
Oh, absolutely. If we could get him on here,
best.
I mean, could you imagine?
I wouldn't complain. Awesome. Okay, so then I guess I'm going to do 2 in a row then, since I got 2 left.
For sure.
So my number 4 was his writing style. His writing is poetry. You know, I mean, you could take the musical element out of it, and you would still have amazing poetry. And
I think about that all the time.
Yeah, it's so good. And so I have some things in here that kind of, there's some elements of his writing that I appreciate. So he talks about the human condition a lot. Like in Angels of Small Death, he talks about being addicted to something. Cherry Wine is about the human condition. Someone New and Jackie and Wilson is like envisioning yourself with someone, or or like in the woods somewhere, talking about survival instinct. You know, he has this way of tapping into the human condition, and I appreciate that. And then there's the nature or visual elements that he puts into his writing, which gives him his great nicknames. Forest Daddy seems to be the most popular one right now. But then you got Bog Boy, Bog Man. My favorite that doesn't seem to be catching on is Forest King. I think because there's so many kings in music, there's like, King of Pop, King of Rock, and then Jim Morrison was the Lizard King. So I thought, we need a Forest King.
Now he can be the king of the forest. Absolutely. See, I tried to get Old Growth Grandfather. I actually made him a T-shirt at the last concert that I went to that I gave to him that said Old Growth Grandfather on it because I was thinking of those really ancient trees. Like I live in BC, so we have lots of those around, but
I like that.
He's an Old Growth Grandfather.
Daddy Longlegs is another
like
one.
Those, what do you call them, walking trees from Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
I remember the name of them.
I don't either, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Those, I love all his nicknames. They're hilarious. But I love his
very suited,
the visual nature elements of his writing. We have in a week, just the decay, damp grass, being consumed by the wildlife. That's very visceral kind of interesting visual there. Or Run has a lot of that. Rushing to shore to meet her, foaming with loneliness.
Yeah.
So it's
I always thought that was such a beautiful song.
It really
He wrote it
is.
about Ireland, didn't he?
Yeah, I think it's my understanding that it's like Ireland and the sea and the relationship between the two. I could be wrong about that, but maybe we'll have to do a lyrical dissection on that one. And then he's got spiritual elements in his writing, you know, and that reminds me of the old blues. The blues had lots of spiritual elements in it, and gospel as well, obviously.
Kind of gospel.
Obviously gospel, yeah. But, you know, the obvious one is Take Me to Church, but From Eden has a lot of spiritual elements. Foreigner's God, Angels.
Love From Eden.
Yeah, so I love the spiritual elements as well. So he's just got these themes that kind of run throughout the music that I really appreciate. So, and then the my number 5 is his humor. I love his humor. I need humor in my life. I really do. And I think between his humility and his humor, I think that's what sucked me in as far as going a step beyond the music with being a fan. Just seeing all these interviews and stuff, and he just seems to be so hilarious. So I'm gonna run a little clip of his view on humor here.
Some people just know how to enjoy themselves and are very skilled at it. And I think Irish people they know what they're about. You know how to have a bit of crack.
And you feed off that.
You do, yeah. Oh, yeah. You do. And like, we could, totally. And I think about it, again, talking about over analysis and stuff like that. I think about it, but like we take for granted the concept of crack and the crack and doing things for the crack and having the crack. It is an ancient word, like, and we have in our culture we have this thing about the worst thing you could be in Ireland is be no crack. You're a non-person. You are essentially, you know. So
I so appreciate how he loves humor, and there's, you know, the worst thing you could be is no crack. And I think that's awesome because we need humor. I mean, there's so much things in this world that is just can get you down, and you gotta laugh through it, otherwise you're go crazy. And I
absolutely
think it's a great attitude to have, and I think we could all learn a thing or two from Mr. Hozier-byrne on that front. So, yeah, I appreciate that. So that was my number 5.
I hope so, yeah. Yeah, his sense of humor is great. I also think that you can like teach a lot of serious things through the scope of humor as well. So kind of it works both ways. It relieves you from the seriousness, but can also be a conduit to it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so that's our top 5. So did you have anything that you wanted to add before we move on?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right. Well,
right.
Then what we're going to do is for the Patreon contributors, we have a monthly call-in show. And for our monthly call-in show for August, we did some Hozier trivia. So I'm going to go ahead and play that Hozier trivia for you guys, and then we're going to take a little break, and then we'll be back after that. Did you like my special music?
Yeah, that was awesome. It really put us in the professional mood.
Yeah. I thought you would like that, so I figured I'd give you some nice cheesy trivia music. For those of you listening and or watching, here is the deal. So we have 10 questions. We actually have a bonus question that I'll probably ask anyway because we changed it up a little bit. What we're going to do is instead of having individuals answer the questions, it's going to be cooperative. So we have Maureen Strasser and Susan Smith on the call, and they are going to be answering Hozier trivia questions. So are you guys ready for this?
Oh boy.
So we know whose voice is who. Can you guys introduce yourself so we know whose voice is whose?
Yeah, hey everybody, this is Susan.
And this is Maureen.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for doing this Hozier trivia. This should be pretty interesting. The questions are kind of hard. I was actually thinking if somebody gets all 10 questions that I would be thoroughly impressed. So you're going to have to put on your thinking caps.
The pressure's on.
All right. Here is question number 1. What is the name of the derelict hotel in Greystones where Cherry Wine was recorded?
I don't know. I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, somebody just posted that. I think was it Claire? She was there the other day.
Right.
Yeah.
She was on
And
her,
she posted in the group.
Yep.
I've forgotten the name of it, and I'm not near my computer, so I can't cheat.
Yeah, no cheating.
This account that we both know, Claire was just there, and she visited it, and she said the name of it.
That does count for something. It does count for something because
Right.
I'll tell you what, it's kind of a difficult name to remember. I'll tell you what, I'll let Andrew himself tell you. He's going to tell you.
Awesome, yeah.
All right, here you go.
Okay.
Jokes aside, this is a song from the first EP, which was recorded live on a hotel rooftop, on this abandoned hotel actually in a town near my house at like 5 in the morning.
Right.
I might as well, I've never told this story. We broke into a hotel. Myself and Scott wanted an interesting place to go, and there's a hotel that was been abandoned for about 10 years, and we used to go there a lot as a child. It's a place called the Latouche, and we wanted to catch the sunrise in case, and also just so it would be inconspicuous. And we went in there and we thought, we wondered. It turns out, a lot of people come and go in there. And so we went in there, and the only natural light that actually came into the place is through where the roof fell in and stuff, and because there was fire damage, somebody set fire to the place at some stage. And they can't knock it down because it's a listed building and stuff. But we went in there and we tried to take photographs, and people had written like murder. You're gonna die. So it's like, this is not a good look. These were press shots. And so we went up to the roof and so where do we record? Yeah, and the night before I was like, here, I'll bring a mic and we'll record the song. And so it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I was so tired. But it ended up on the first EP. Anyway, long story short, this is a song called Cherry Wine.
Did you guys catch it? He kind of said it quickly.
I remember, no, I couldn't hear it. I could hear him talking, and I remember listening to that before about how they went to catch sunup, but I couldn't hear his actual dialogue.
Yeah, he said it kind of quickly. So the name of the hotel is called Latouche.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I wouldn't have remembered that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have either. That does, it rings a bell though now that you say it, yeah.
Yeah, hard question.
Yeah.
Okay, I have faith that you guys will get this one. Are you ready? Number 2.
Yeah.
What is the name of Andrew's brother John's film production company?
Stoneface Films?
Yes, Stoneface Films. Very good.
Good for you, Susan. Good for you.
Yeah, Stoneface Films. So they actually have a podcast. And if you guys want to listen to Hozier on his brother's podcast, you can go to the Stone-Faced Films podcast. And he's in season 1, episodes 23 and 24, and season 2, episodes 29 and 30. So I listened to those. Those are pretty good. So, okay.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I've seen season 2.
So, okay, so we got number 3. What is the name of the production company, the video production company, that produced the Take Me to Church video?
Oh, I can tell you about it. Do you know the name, Susan?
It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh my goodness.
And I know it's two guys who are stand-up comedians, but
You want a hint?
Sure.
Okay, it's 3 words. And do you want the first word or the last word?
The first word. What do you think, Maureen? The first word or
yeah,
the last
I'm
word?
clueless. Yeah.
Okay, the first word of the name is feel.
Feel Good Lost?
Yes, that's it. Good job.
Good for you. Good.
Thank you for the hint.
All right, so you guys are doing pretty good. You got 2 out of 3. That's pretty good.
I'm kind of ragging along on this, but yeah, I thought that was really interesting though to find out that I've seen something recently that are kind of outtakes of them playing around when they were making the video, and they're all joking.
Yeah.
And
It was like a behind the scenes video.
Right.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
really enjoyed that. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was quite a few comments about how dark the video is, but yet behind the scenes they were all being goofy and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, number 4. In which room of the house was Andrew when he came up with the witty and ingenious line, "We'll name our children Jackie and Wilson"?
No clue.
Was he in the attic or
Yeah, but okay, I can say that he was in the attic. Yeah, because that's where he did most of that album.
That's a really good guess, but it's not correct.
This might be completely new information for me. I don't think I've heard this.
Right, I don't think so. I have either.
I bet you have, and you were like me and totally skimmed over it. Remember that Spotify video where he talks about Jackie and Wilson? Well, let me just cut to that. Gosh, no, I think he's wearing his jacket. Well, let me cut to the part where he explains it, and then maybe it'll sound familiar to you.
Okay.
Okay, here it is.
I was in the shower and it just kind of came to my head. We'll name our children Jackie and Wilson. I was excited about it. I thought it was a cute little line at the time.
Did that sound familiar to you?
I couldn't hear what he
but
said.
I heard it though. He was in the shower.
Yep, he was in the shower.
Oh,
That's really cool. Okay, yeah, I think I had just completely missed that.
me too.
I had
And
too. I didn't even realize it. I was looking back on some of our what was it that we have Trivia Tuesdays for a while in the Hozier 24/7 Facebook group, or was it Fun Fact Friday? Yeah, I don't know which one it was.
Oh.
But I was looking through some of those for some good questions. And I actually got that from that, and I didn't even realize. I mean, I'd seen that video quite a few times, and I never paid attention that he was saying that he was in the shower. So when he came up with it. So.
I think our brains can only, receive so much information.
I think you're right.
Eventually we run out of space.
Exactly, absolutely. Okay, so this one, I don't know. I will be thoroughly impressed if you guys get this one. Let me just put that out there. So I don't think I would be able to get it. So here's the question. Number 5. What famous last words of poet Seamus Heaney did Andrew get tattooed on his shoulder?
I know.
Now, I will take the English translation.
I believe it's "Never Be Afraid."
That
Never
is
fear.
very close. Very close.
Do not be afraid.
Yes, it's "Don't Be Afraid." Very good.
Yeah.
And how do you pronounce it? Noli. Do you know, Emily?
Well, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's Noli Timere, Nolittimere. So I don't think, I mean, I might have been able to get the "Do Not Be Afraid," or the "Don't Be Afraid," but the Noli Timere, that's Latin, right?
think
Is that
so.
Latin? Yeah. I don't think I would have gotten that.
Probably.
I wouldn't have been able to remember it.
I think
So-
it's pretty good, though, that we all knew the basic meaning of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was from Seamus Heaney, and it was, have no fear, don't be afraid, whatever. Right.
Isn't that cool
It's a really
that
good
was
voice
his
for a
last
movie.
words, though? I mean, can you imagine leaving the world with such amazing words?
a
My
good
last
way to
words
go
will
out.
probably be like, help!
And the fact that, Andrew has it tattooed, as he would say, prison style on his shoulder. But, that's another part of his awesomeness.
Yeah.
That's what he would choose to have.
Yeah.
And the way he would choose to have it done that way, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Very cool. Okay, so off to number 6. What was the name of Andrew's father's Dublin-based blues band?
Oh, God.
See, I think that's another one I've heard, but it's not quite on the tip of my tongue right now.
It didn't
Emily,
stick.
I thought you would be asking questions like, what did Andrew's father do?
Oh, no.
He had a blues band.
No. We're not going easy on this one. I do need to start writing down how many you have right, though. I think you have 4 out of 5 right, though. So you guys, I mean, these are hard questions, and you have 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
All right,
We're
so
killing it, Marnie.
It's like,
so the name, are you giving up on the name of the band?
I don't know. Do you want to give us a hint, or do you think that would kind of give it away?
Oh, how could I do a hint for this?
I wouldn't have a clue. I wouldn't have.
I feel like I've
It's
seen it recently, but it's just not coming to me.
it has to do
And
with
I-
alcohol. If that helps.
I just don't know.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
I
I'll
think
give you
I
that.
have to.
I think I only saw this in one article ever. I don't think it's like very common knowledge. And this might even be wrong. I don't know. This is just in the article that I got. So, Free Booze is the name of the band. Free
Okay,
Booze.
that sounds familiar.
Does that ring a bell?
It does.
Yeah, not for me. I don't think I ever knew. Again, I think about all that I do know, and yet it's none of these things.
Yeah, these are tricky. These are tricky. All right. Well, you guys are doing pretty good, though. So you got 4 out of 6. Okay, so here's number 7. Okay, at what age did Andrew join the Irish-based choral ensemble group called Anuna?
It was before he went. Well, he was in it, I think, in Trinity too. I think it was after he got out of high school. But he was in Anuna when he did the stuff, the playful stuff. He was really young. 17, 16?
Yes.
17 was going to be my first guess, but I was really, second guessing that.
Well, I would have accepted 17 as well. So the quote from the article I have is, I actually joined Anuna when I was 16, he recalls. I did a little bit of touring with them. It was great. But he said 16 there, but in other interviews I did see or hear him say 16 or 17. So I would have accepted both, but you guys got it. That was perfect.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, we did, Susan. Yay!
Good job. Okay, question number 8. Someone New was co-written with what Irish Sierra Leone singer?
That one's an easy one for me. Loa or Soleil, something or other. God, it's a hyphenated. The next 2 names are hyphenated. But
I'll definitely give you Loa. I'm curious to know if Susan can pull the other name out.
the other 2, the hyphenated names.
I was just about to say, I've always been curious about the pronunciation of that first part of, her first last name there, Matu or something like that.
Yeah,
Garnett?
so it's
Garnett,
spelled.
Yeah, Garnett Matu.
Yeah, it's Sally Matu Garnett, but I don't know if it's Garnet because it could be French. But yeah, we're probably butchering it.
But again,
But
Oh no.
that is her given name, and she performs and records under the name Loa. So that was very good. You guys got that one. So we're 6 out of 8. You got 6 out of 8 so far. You're doing great. Okay, so number 9.
you're such a good leader. You really are such a good leader. You are.
Well, you guys got.
Definitely, you're very encouraging.
Well,
Yes.
you're getting more than I would have expected because these are hard questions. So.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, so number 9. Andrew mentioned in an interview that for a brief time as a child, he worked on a farm planting which vegetable?
Was that just in one interview also, Emily?
What?
Was that in one? Did you find it in one interview?
I think it was in one interview. I don't know that I heard it in more than one.
Yeah, I have to give that 2 because, you know, like I was saying, I don't think I've ever encountered, I don't know, I don't think I've run across this information, so yeah, I'm going to have to say I just don't know this one.
Okay, well, let me cut to the clip.
Did you farm when I was a kid? Did you do any manual labor or anything?
I for a brief time as a child, I used to plant leeks, yeah, for a local farm.
So he used to plant leeks.
I would never have known it.
Planting leeks.
The meme that was going around recently about the leaks, it says there's a very serious leak under the sink or something like that, and then it shows a funny picture of the leak, and it looks kind of mad or something.
Like the leek, the vegetable is mad.
You know what?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
It's like dad joke right there.
And I saw that, but I didn't get it. Anyway.
That's funny. Okay, we're on number 10. Okay, so that was, okay, you got 6 out of 9 so far. So here's number 10. Founded by guitarist and composer Max Zaska, what band started in 2011 included Hozier and Karen Cowley on vocals, Dylan Lynch on drums, Sam Comerford on tenor saxophone, and Kevin Higgins on bass.
I know it's got Max's name in the title. Is it? Or maybe it's just his latest music is Zaska.
Didn't they start out with a different name, and like his band now is called Zaska, but it was something different before?
Yeah, but what was it? But I think Zaska was in the name because I remember watching pictures of them when they were doing that kind of this scat type jazz, and the name Zaska. I had seen the name Zaska when it was.
Okay.
So I know that they did have a band named Zaska, but this is before that.
Okay, then I don't know.
Susan, anything?
No, it's not coming to me right away. And it's probably another one of those that wouldn't. If I sat here for 5 hours, it just would never come to me.
Right.
All right, well, the name of the band was Groove.
Oh, right.
Groove, yep. Okay, you guys want the bonus question for a little redemption?
Sure, why not?
Good one's a little more obscure.
Okay, so here's the bonus question. In 2012, Andrew appeared on the Saturday Night Show as a backup vocalist for what famous R&B pop singer?
I know, Frank Ocean.
Close.
Billy Ocean?
Yes, Billy Ocean.
Well, Billy Ocean. I'm going to count that as getting it because I was trying to say it too fast. But yeah, he's doing the backup.
Yep.
For, love watching that.
Cool. All right. Well, you guys did pretty good. You got 6 out of 11. I'd say that's pretty good, given the
really
difficult
is,
question.
Considering, I mean, these were really great questions. Yeah. I really appreciated, learning the things that I learned tonight, Emily. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, if you didn't know it, now you do. There's a lot of costs associated with producing a podcast. Between hosting a website, buying equipment, and paying for file storage, we quickly realized that maybe it would be a good idea if we started asking for help. If you would like to help support us, visit Hozier247.blog/join. You'll get exclusive rewards such as access to the video podcast and watch party, an invitation to our monthly call-in show, and quarterly bonus content. At $3 a month for the groupie plan and $6 a month for the fanatic plan, we're not looking to get rich. We're just trying to avoid going broke. So visit Hozier247.blog/join if you would like to help support us. Thanks to everyone who has already contributed, and thank you to everyone who is listening to the podcast. We appreciate your support. We're back, and we're going to talk a little bit about some Hozier news that's going on. So he began his European leg of the tour in Copenhagen, Denmark on August 19th. So he's in Europe right now. And so for September, he's averaging, like a 2,500 capacity venues for his European leg. Mm-hmm. So we got some that are bigger. So Amsterdam, we're recording this on September 2nd. So Amsterdam would have been yesterday for us. That was 6,000. That was a bigger venue. And then Brussels, which is tonight for us, is 3,500. So we got a couple larger venues, but then it goes down to Hamburg is 1,500, Frankfurt, Germany, 1,500, Warsaw, Poland, 1,500. And then he's doing Lollapalooza, Berlin, which who knows how many people are gonna be there for that. But yeah,
tens
the average,
of thousands.
Yeah, it's gonna be big, and they're streaming it too. I just found out today that they're gonna stream it, so that's gonna be cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we'll be able to get to see that. But I crunched some numbers. So all the shows are sold out with the exception of London, which is the last show in September. So it still might sell out before that time. And if that sells out, we're looking at 45,230 people that he will be performing to in September, which is pretty cool. So yeah,
there's no small potatoes.
I know. And you know, like I said, some of them are smaller venues, but some of them are a little bigger. But like I said, 2,300 is the average capacity for those. So, which is a little smaller than the U.S. The U.S. has been on the 5,000 area, I've noticed. And I think coming up, he even has a 10,000 arena in Portland, but I don't think they're going to max that out. I think they're sectioning that out. So I don't know how many that's going to end up being. But he's been playing like around 5,000 capacity areas in the U.S. So so he'll be going through Germany, Poland, France, Great Britain, Scotland, England, Great Britain. Yeah, so he'll be going through that area. And then in regards to his fiddle players, so we still have some date conflicts with the violin. So on September 22nd, November 13th, November 16th, those three dates, Emily Kohavi, who is doing the fiddle playing right now, has other commitments with her Wild Eyes band. So I'm not sure if she's going to be canceling those for Wild Eyes. I'm not sure if they're going to bring in somebody else to fill in for her. I did notice that Suzanne Santos European
Maybe we had some
tour.
hopefuls saying that Suzanne Santo might be coming in. Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
That's okay. With the little bit of lag, it's hard not to. But yeah, I'm wondering if Suzanne Santo is gonna come in, because her European tour ends on the 21st of September, and then she'll start a Southwest tour. But I think those dates are still open for her, the ones that there's a conflict with. So it's possible that she might step back in, or they might have a third unknown person. I'm not really sure. But what I thought would be kind of interesting to do really quick is during Angel of Small Death, there is a little violin solo that they do. And so I thought it would be kind of interesting to show Emily's solo right next to Suzanne's solo, so you guys can hear the difference. So I'm going to go ahead and play those. This first one is Emily's, so here's Emily's. And then here is Suzanne. So they were a little different. I couldn't pick which one I liked better, and I'm not just saying that to be diplomatic. I really could not decide. I liked the ending of Emily's better. It had a little more of a eerie edge to it, but I liked the beginning of Suzanne's better. So,
yeah, I was gonna say spooky. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really cool. They're
Just gotta
both
mash them together and
fantastic.
they'll be perfect.
Exactly. Maybe put them both on stage. Maybe there could be like a fiddle war or something. That'd be cool. So anyway, we'll see if there's a third coming, or if it's just gonna be.
It would be cool to get them both on the same stage if they could, but
I know, that would be so awesome. I'm super excited though, because I'm going to be seeing Suzanne Santo in Phoenix in October, which is going to be really cool. October is going to be fun because I'm going to be able to see quite a few Hozier concerts and then a Suzanne Santo concert. So I'm going to be very busy in October. Everything happens at once. They couldn't have been more spread out.
I'm so jealous that she's just sticking to like the American Southwest. Or Southeast. Sorry.
Well, hopefully after that she'll kind of start a new leg of the tour. I'm not really sure. I think it would be great for her to get back with the Hozier crew, though, too. I'm torn because I love her music. Her solo career is great. I love it, but there's just something special about her being on stage with Hozier, too. So it's tricky. Okay, so
for sure.
Big news is that there is new music on the horizon, and it looks like it's not going to be that far away. It looks like it might be even this week. Not sure, but I'm going to read Egan McDermott, who is a radio personality in Ireland, said, ragingly, my phone died for Hozier's set last night, but it was glorious. Shrike might be one of my favorite songs ever. He's announcing something great this week, and we'll chat about it on Z Wireless on Wednesday. He also explains how the extinction of the human race will occur. In the meantime, we cuddled. I thought that was cute. So he might be announcing something this week.
That's cute.
But I do have a little something straight from the horse's mouth about new music. So here's a little clip of Andrew talking about that.
If I can, I'd love to be able to just release something before the end of the year. We'll have to see how we go, but so it's kind of making it in the middle of the tour schedule is a challenge, but it's been great to get back into studio and work on ideas again.
So he sounds a little unsure about before the end of the year. So maybe Wednesday will be an announcement about a date for releasing new music. I don't know. What do you think?
Hopefully. That'd be so great. Even just a song.
Yeah, even just a song. Yeah, I think it sounds like he'll at least release one song, hopefully before the end of the year. But we'll see how that goes. Now, word on the street is that he's got 3 songs recorded. I think that was something he mentioned during a concert. I couldn't verify that, though. Oh. So I don't know, I could relay that information to you, but I can't say that that's fact. But I think some people were talking about how he recorded 3 songs. His voice was kind of hoarse from recording. So we should be getting some new music soon. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then
he had mentioned that at one point.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So he's got new set pieces for the stage, which is pretty cool. The only one that I was able to see so far is there's fire. There's like this little wall of fire. Didn't look like it came up too far, maybe about a foot or 18 inches of fire, I assume for Dinner and Diatribes, but I'm not really sure. Have you seen any of that?
Yeah.
Jess, do you know what that looks like?
Is that a permanent edition now, or is it just for the... I thought it was maybe just for the festival.
Ooh, maybe it would be just for the festival. I'm not really sure. And now that you mention it, we'll have to keep our eyes peeled and see what they do. Or maybe they just use it for festivals, because I don't know if you could bring that fire thing indoors. Not really sure, but we'll see. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for that.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I thought it would maybe just be for the festival. Also, I am sorry that I keep cutting you off. It is the lag. I realize that there's like a 10-second difference between when I start speaking and when you hear it.
Oh, no, that's no problem. I apologize about the lag. My computer is struggling to keep up. So, and then Rachel Beauregard posted. She posted something on Instagram, or was it? I think it was Instagram. She said, sometimes playing festivals can be really challenging because you're outside in the elements, meaning anything from intense wind, heat, cold, noise, and a host of other things the crew could tell you about are not necessarily working in your favor. Also, Andrew and the designers/crew had worked for weeks leading up to the show to add new set pieces and devices. Having worked in the DC theater scene for several years, I can tell you this is no small task. It requires a ton of patience and very little sleep. Electric Picnic, for me, was a really tough gig for a lot of reasons, and yet that show will certainly leave an indelible mark on my heart as far as experiences with this wonderful tour. 2 days later, and I'm still waking up with really beautiful memories of that night. Ireland, you will forever have a special place in my heart. So I thought that was kind of nice. It's a shame that it was a difficult, tough gig for her, but it seems like it made an impression on her. For some reason. I know her and Kristen got tattoos. I don't know if you saw those pictures, but I think it was at Electric Picnic they got tattoos.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was pretty cool. I wonder what they got. And then Ruth Medjber, I think that's how you pronounce her name. I don't know, Jess, if you think Medjber is correct, is the photographer for the European leg.
Is that the new tour photographer?
Yeah, yep. I think it's Medjber. But she's on Ruthless Imagery on Instagram. So she'll be the one to go to for Hozier Pictures. Austin Roa is not with them on the European leg, although he did start like a kind of a vlog on YouTube, which is really cool. He's going to be talking about photography, and it looks like he's going to be giving tips and tricks for photography and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. So, and then the last bit of news we have is while they were in Italy, it was Rain, his mother's birthday. So here's a quick clip of Andrew singing happy birthday to his mom. He makes the birthday song sound like a song you'd want to pop in your MP3 player and press play. It's so good.
It really does. Yeah.
So that was pretty cool that his mom was
lucky mom
able to be there for that show in Italy, and he got to sing happy birthday to her. So all right, so now we got some feedback. So some people from the Hozier 24/7 Facebook group submitted some feedback for us. These are some of the things that these people love about Hozier. So I kind of put it out there that we're going to be doing our top 5 things that we love about Hozier, and if anybody wanted to contribute, and we got some responses. So Cindy Dozier said his humbleness, it's the only thing, maybe one of the things I hope he never loses. Also what I call live and let live attitude, non-judgmental. The fact that he tries to meet his fans without asking for anything like some others do. Claire Hosking, the fact that he's so intelligent way beyond his years. Also that he's so kind and compassionate towards others and will be outspoken about important social matters. Dakota Patton, his eloquence is unmatched. That man always knows what words to say. From interviews to shy fans, Andrew always has a smile on his face and speaks with grace. Pat Patterson Fleischman says his unconditional love and loyalty for family and good friends is so genuine. I'm sure he learned this trait from his parents, and in return, he shows them so much love and respect. When he's touring, there's many times he's had his parents and other family members travel with him. When he has time, he always seems to be in touch with his friends. He's so loyal and loving. Dolly Sarley says the way he crafts his music. Deborah Ann Bennett says his intelligence astounds me, and his ability to drip feed us with little nuggets of information. The amount of times I have ran to Google to find out what he is actually talking about. Also, the amount of times I have ran to YouTube to discover new artists recommended by him, and everything else that everyone has mentioned as well, because I love Hozier. Jennifer Moran, in addition to everything already stated, I love that Andrew unites amazing, intelligent, and thoughtful folks together, and this, in turn, has led to amazing and supportive friendships from around the world. I am so grateful and blessed. Also, the fact that he is simply himself with no airs or pretense. He sings his truth and his heart, and I am so grateful for it all. Christina Latteroot, my host from last month, said, I love his drive to do good as well as his love for poetry. Marcy Jones says, I admire his humanitarian attributes. He's unafraid to buck the system that would try to repress people for being who they are, who they love, women's rights, being homeless, or being their authentic selves. Let's not forget that he visits sick kids, helps with fundraising for battered spouses and sheltered animals. He's the real deal, and I love that about him. That was pretty good. Libby Ferries says, your eloquence is doing him justice, but he almost deserves more. He is a genuine, compassionate human being who cares, loves, and is not afraid to show it, and also is prodigiously talented, but humble about his gifts. He is just Hozier, unique. And Ronnie Andrews says, he's an amazing person. I admire him for his kindness, humbleness, intelligence, and talent. Also, his sense of humor is priceless. I totally agree. His sense of humor is priceless. And then I got one email from Dolly Sarley regarding the song Would That I from last month's podcast. So she said, Emily, I was thinking about your idea that the conflict in this Hozier song might be between his relationship with a lover and his career. I recalled comments the great Janis Joplin said about how she felt when performing. 2 specific comments she made. Singing is like loving somebody. It's a supreme emotional and physical experience, and when I sing, I feel like when you're first in love, it's more than sex. It's that point 2 people get to when they are in love. When you really touch someone for the first time, but it's gigantic multiplied by the whole audience. I feel chills. For her, it was worth pouring out her life for that experience. Sadly, it didn't end well. I think Hozier understands the lure of the adulation of fans and the rush he feels as a performer on stage. Quote, you're good to me, unquote. The chorus might be his accepting that as a musician / entertainer, he is still the wood, quote, still living roots, unquote, burning in the roaring fire of the music business machine. The hand of gold might be the financial success, as he has experienced, also alluring. But it's not always positive, Janis also said. On stage, I will make love to 25,000 people, and then I go home alone. Hozier, quote, the weepin' of me, unquote. With each love I cut loose, was never the same. It appears that Andy has a level-headed approach to his career and a solid support base of family and friends to keep him grounded. I'm praying that's true and stays true so he avoids Janis's troubles and fate. Take care, Dolly Sarley. I think he's grounded enough to not get in the same types of troubles as Janis Joplin did. I think he's got a pretty good level head on his shoulders. So
We hope.
yeah. So I think he'll be all right. Okay, so is there anything, Jess, that you wanted to add before we wrap up the show?
No, I think I said everything I wanted to say. And I like, what was her name? Dolly's add on there for Would That I? Because I thought about that song a lot following our call-in conversation, the completely different interpretation of it that I'd never thought of before. It's so interesting.
Yeah, I love that song. That's one of my favorites for sure. So, okay, so that does it for our show. Thank you, everybody who are paid supporters to the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the listeners. If you'd like to get access to the video version of this podcast or other exclusive content, you can go to hozier247.blog/join. If you'd like to leave feedback, there's a couple ways to leave feedback. You can email us, or you can record a voice memo on your phone and email that. The email address is frozendevotion@gmail.com. You can call us at 602-633-4903. And I was so excited. I thought we had a voicemail. I checked my voicemail, and I had a voicemail. I was so excited, and I checked the voicemail, and it was just a telemarketer saying that my warranty was about to expire. So I was bummed. But maybe next time some bold fan can call in and leave some voicemail, and I'll put that on the show for next time. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you can leave your priority feedback at hozier247.blog. For the biggest Hozier video archive in the world, you can join Hozier247 on the Facebook group. It's an amazing Facebook group. I highly recommend it. You can also find me as Emma Byrne on YouTube if you want to subscribe there. Got some good videos, and I always post the podcast there as well. So thank you so much, Jess, for coming on the podcast. It was so much fun to have you on, and it was great to talk to you again.
Yeah, same to you. Thanks for inviting me, and thanks for the chat. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that does it, guys. So make sure to look after each other, and we will see you in October.